rousing anthem, Marseillaise, for the French team. A tremendous atmosphere at Lansdowne Road. And France, with 4 changes to their side, from the side that beat Fiji in Toulouse, Cédric Soulette and Olivier Brouzet take the places of the suspended Califano and Fabien Pelouse. And behind the scrum, Hugo Mola and Stéphane Castagnette are dropped into the bench. Rabajosa playing his second test at fullback, and the experienced Fabien Galtier coming in at scrum half. Argentina, just the 1 change in their lineup. Roberto Grau returns from suspension, replacing the injured Omar Hassan in the front row, with Reggiado moving over to his favourite tight head side of the scrum. It's a rousing pack, a pack that likes to shove opponents around the park. And Lisandro Arbizu is captain in his 66th international. And Derek Bevan, his 42nd international, the most experienced referee in the world, in his 4th Rugby World Cup finals tournament. Of course, Derek Bevan from Swansea refereed the 1991 World Cup final at Twickenham between England and Australia. Well, despite the fact that all the scripts had Ireland playing here against France, magnificent efforts by Argentina in Lens on Wednesday night ensured that the Pumas would be here at Lansdowne Road in their very first World Cup quarter-final. How much gas is left in the tank for the Argentinians after those efforts, we'll see. It's going to be Christophe Lamaison from the Brive club in France to kick off this quarter-final. And away we go. Huge cheer. Pichot back to Quesada, the kicking phenomenon in the Argentinian side. He'll be a target, no doubt, for the French back row of Rivemont, Magne and Juillet. This man, the leading point scorer in Rugby World Cup with 89 points, and remarkably, he's still an amateur rugby player in Buenos Aires. The checkbooks will be out after this tournament, no doubt. Number 6 for France at the back is Marc Livremont from the Stade Francais club. Brouzet went up for it, but Argentina still it at the line-out, the first line-out of the match. Galtier with a little footwork at the back. France took it in. It stayed above the ground, so it didn't become a ruck, and it becomes Argentina's put into the scrummage. Not much in it as far as the pack weights are concerned, but look at that, front row has gone up. Argentina with the proud tradition and the most feared pack around the world. They really believe that they can push any team around the park. It'll be seen, and it's a penalty to France. Argentina penalised for taking the scrummage down. You can see Derek Bevan speaking to that Puma front row. Keep it up.
Yeah, clearly the Pumas front row don't really agree with that one. Very interesting from France's perspective. They just were expecting them to catch fire any time, and I think they believe today is their day. I was talking to Pierre Villepreux. He believes they've got the game to beat Argentina, and he believes that their backs can do it for them. We haven't seen it to date in the World Cup, so it'll be very interesting to see if it happens today.
Now this is quite interesting because Christophe Lamaison has been given the duty of the first kick, and all through this tournament has been with Richard Dott, the Dax centre. Lamaison, who kicked 81 points in the 97 and 98 French Grand Slam Five Nations Championship seasons. Lamaison for France. Nice looking stroke of the ball, and it's the first strike for France. Lamaison puts France in front at 3 points to 0.
It's exactly what France wanted. Good start. Lamaison stepping up and just slotting it over the bar. France are a confident side. As I said, they believe they can start playing rugby at this stage. That's a very good start for them.
Quesada restarts. Up goes Brouzet, picked up now by Ibanez, the captain. It's with Galtier. Lamaison, and that's just off the side of the boot, but it's made touch safely. Xavier Rabajosa, he of the Percy Montgomery School of Hairdressing. Played 14 tests. This is 14th test. It's only his second outing at fullback. He had a pretty uncomfortable experience at fullback against New Zealand this year when France went down by a half-century of points. Mario Ledesma now for Argentina, the Pumas hooker. Taken by Alejandro Aylub, one of the young locks in this Argentina pack. Pichot on the narrow side, and the kick intended for Albanese. Augustin Pichot, the man who will play for Bristol at the end of this Rugby World Cup, where he will join his centre partner, Eduardo Simone.
We have a Garda message for the mother or guardian of Simon Lee.
Yeah, you'd certainly have to rate Pichot as one of the better scrum halves in the World Cup tournament to date. Certainly was very influential in the victory against Ireland the other night.
Tremendous drive by France from the line-out. Picked up now by Galtier. The tempo is high from France. They've made a good start. Galtier again. La Maison standing still. Entamac also standing still. Taken by Santiago Filan and Gonzalongo, the two back row men for Argentina. La Maison. That's a little dangerous. Taken on by Brouzet. That was good support work by the big lock. No second chance this time from La Maison.
Yeah, static play by the French backs there. Both La Maison and Entamac playing out of position, I believe, in the centre. Both taking the ball static, not really making any progress, allowing the Argentinian defence to swarm onto them.
That's the halfway line. It's Argentina's throw. Mario Ledesma taking his chance, of course, with the admission of Federico Mendes, the Northampton hooker. Quesada just took his eye off the ball. This is Olivier Magne. He's on his own. He's got support from Livremont inside the Argentinian 22. Tremendous break by Magne. It's in front of the Pumas posts. But the Pumas look as if they've turned this one. Pichot to Quesada. Takes his time, but he's missed touch. He finds Christophe Dominici. Little chip by the flying winger, and the follow-up by Dominici. Needs a good bounce. Pichot with the tackle. Stirring start this by France. Soulette, Berbizier, La Maison, Durt. The good tackle from Arbizou. Jouillet with men over here. Rabajosa is going to score. A tremendous try for France. And Lansdowne Road comes to its feet. That's the best of France in this Rugby World Cup. Xavier Rabajosa scores the opening try of the match.
Great score there for Garbajosa, right? Here we can see the build-up right from the far end of the field. Durth takes the ball actually and sort of has a go to the centre and sort of stops the momentum. Juillet does very well right on the corner there, recognised there's men outside. Arbajosa takes the ball right in behind the post, makes sure of the conversion. But just very interesting from that play. The French, their confidence absolutely shook before coming into the game. An early penalty on the board, and just looking at their body language as they came back from the try there, very much into the game, and from their perspective very much on a high now. Here again we see the ball to Durth, making the half break, slowing up play slightly. Juillet right on his shoulder and having the presence of mind just to skip the ball out beyond Albanese to Garbajosa.
Great start for France. There's a foot in touch on this side. Xavier Rabajosa, who playing full-back, he likes to play wing. Entrusted with the number 15 shirt for his country for only the second time. Gonzalo Quesada, who has kicked so magnificently for Argentina from Cardiff to Llanelli, back to Cardiff to Lens, and now here in Dublin. Ledesma, to the back it goes, Phelan with a tap, Pichot, Quesada. This is Simone, tackled wonderfully by Livremont in midfield. That was a thumping tackle from the flanker, but it was high. Derek Bevan says the tackle was high from Livremont, and he's going to have a word. Marc Livremont, the elder of the two Livremont brothers, and Derek Bevan said this was high.
Yeah, here you can see Simeone coming in and Livremont coming slightly on the shoulder, I would have thought. Slightly harsh decision there. But high it's deemed to be, and a penalty to Argentina, and it's likely that Quesada will slot this one over.
Marc Livremont playing in this French side. His brother, unfortunately, Thomas Livremont, had to retire from the tournament. 305 points in 22 tests for Gonzalo Quesada, and they can boo all they like. This man is unruffled, he is calm, he's cool, and he's collected. There'll be a little stamp of the feet on the spot, a few deep breaths, one final look at the posts. Has it got the distance? It's wide. Well, that was the least convincing kick I've certainly seen Quesada kick all this tournament.
Very interesting. I talked about confidence earlier, confidence of the French side, and Argentina very much depended on Quesada to keep them in games, to win them games, and his first strike goal, as you said, his technique well off for what we're used to seeing. I don't think I've seen him kick as badly as that.
La Maison, and it was charged down by Phelan, who's taken a nasty bump. Benazi, he's got Benatsal with Rabajosa inside. So to Magna. Oh, the man has got pace. Chased by Corletto. Magna inside. Rabajosa. Benatsal. All the way with Benatsal. That is a magnificent try by France. Philippe Benatsal scoring his 18th try for his country. A quite magnificent try from France.
All came from the dropout here that Argentina blocked. Benazi does very well here, draws the man in, gives it out to Bernard Sal in the first instance, back into Magna. Magna takes off, he's very quick, open side flanker, gets chased all the way into Arbadosa, and Bernard Sal spots the gap and over he goes. So that's 75 metres for France. The players throwing their arms up in the air, and for France this whole World Cup has just started.
La Maison with the simplest tasks, the extra 2 points. France, the sleeping giant of Rugby World Cup 99. The stuttered starts in their Pool C matches, but look at Magna inside the Rabajosa and Philippe Benatsal, a flying winger with the Biarritz club, scores under the posts. It's the France we know, the France we've been waiting for. From the restart, it's with France. Galtier, La Maison. That's a big kick downfield by the Brive outside half, who has a teammate as well in the Argentina side in the shape of Lisandro Arbizu, the Argentinian captain. The French supporters are singing around this ground. Terrific atmosphere as Fernandez Lobbe takes it at the front for the Pumas. The Pumas walk it some 5 or 6 meters. Pichot now. Quesada. Benatsal's underneath it. Loses it. Picked up by Simone. It's gone forward though. Of course, the one thing going in for France's favour is the fact that they've not played for 8 days. It's a week yesterday that they played Fiji in Toulouse, and of course Argentina had that bruising battle against Ireland in Lens on Wednesday night. They must be still feeling some of the bumps from their efforts that night. Galtier now linking with Magna, Livremont and Brouzet. It's just gone forward. Or was it?
I'm not sure about that at all. I think that's a wrong call, but we'll see. Certainly the French sniping around. Galtier showing his worth, coming back, working his way back into the side and combining very well with Magna and Livremont there. There's the ambassador for French rugby there.
Monsieur le Rugby. He's an happy man.
Certainly is. The French, just their whole demeanour now on the pitch, very confident.
It's on the halfway line, put in by Pichot, and the Pumas' back just went backwards just for a yard or so. Quesada spots a gap. Rabajosa, though, makes good ground. And he's done well. The Toulouse fullback gets an applause from his teammates for that nice bit of gaining ground. Taken at the front by Argentina. Quesada. It's a little bit static, Simone. It's not working behind for Argentina. Mind you, throughout this World Cup, they've not done a lot behind. They've only managed to score 4 tries in this Rugby World Cup, and by the same token, they've only conceded 3. Both the props from France are from the Toulouse club. Cédric Soulette and Franck Tonnerre on this side, wearing 3. Califano, he's suspended, he's also from Toulouse. Galtier to Jouyer, breaking through is Dominici, finds Galtier. Magne. France working on all cylinders. Galtier taken by Pichot, his opposite number. Inside the Argentinian 22, Galtier, La Maison strings out the long pass to Benatsal. Thumping tackle by Albanese. And the referee blowing it early, and France taking it in, the ball going to ground. Going forward, it's French ball to the scrummage.
Again, very clever play there by Galtier at number 9. He was certainly a persona non grata on the French team for the previous part of the season, but I think Skrela and Villepin recognising that they needed him in the side, sniping and really creating stuff off the back row there.
Christophe Jouyer at the back. And look at Galtier, nonchalant, relaxed, but harassed by Pichot. This is Jouyer now again. Galtier, Benazi. Galtier, La Maison looked as if he was going to line him up for the drop goal, but it's the high up and under. There's been a collision between 2 French players, both the centres. Carry on, says the referee. And that was the fullback Ignacio Corletto making good ground for Argentina, taking them away from their 22. That was an unfortunate collision between Richard Dut and Emile Ntamak. You can just see them clashing behind Corletto, who took them out.
Corletto couldn't believe his luck there. Got a free catch. The 2 centres colliding with each other and allowing Argentina to get away.
Now, France, that's the last thing they need, is an injury to Fabien Galtier from the Colombia club, the first man to be capped from that particular club. 30 years of age now, they call him a veteran. This is his 3rd World Cup. He's replaced Pierre Mignoni. And of course, France have had their problems at scrum half. Stéphane Castagnette is on the bench. He hasn't really performed in this tournament in the 3 matches in France. And happily restored is Fabien Galtier. France have a tremendous record against Argentina. This is their 34th meeting since 1949. And France have won 28 to Argentina's 12. 4 rather. This is Ntamak. Leaves it for Galtier. Olivier Magne. He's been very prominent in these first 20 minutes or so. Will chip into the box this time. Gonzalo Camardon is underneath that. That's a huge kick by the right winger. Back goes Rabajosa. He's got lots of time. Whether players take cognizance of records, I'm not sure, Brendan, but France have won the last 7 tests against Argentina, and that must play on the minds of the Pumas.
Very much so, and France, in fact, in their approach to this match, were saying that they know how Argentina play, they play against them regularly, and I think they're very comfortable. They put up a reasonable distance in the score, and it's a very good start for them.
It was Gonza Longo who took it, number 8 in the line-out for France. Picked up though by Livrement. They'll have to come back. It's a tap forward. Augustin Pichot with the put in. Longo at number 8 picks up. Back to a scrum half. Oh, lovely little dummy by Pichot. Rabajosa has done well. Rabajosa is looking reasonably comfortable in that number 15 shirt. Much more comfortable than he was earlier this year in Dunedin against the All Blacks. Number 7 for Argentina is Rolando Martin. But keep your eye on number 5 working around. That's Alejandro Alub, the 23-year-old lock. 2 young locks in this Argentinian side. And they've driven well from the line out. Pichot's waiting for it. There are hands all over the ball. Pichot, Quesada, brings in Camardon. Back to Pichot. Well, the referee was playing advantage, Derek Bevan, and he's given the penalty to Argentina. Now going for the line-out, the attacking line-out, instead of kicking for the 3 points. France are 17-0 in front, and I think that's probably the best thing that Quesada could have done.
Yeah, I think recognising there that they really have got to start scoring through tries, not only from penalties. And too close there to spurn the opportunity.
A couple of big targets for Ledesma, and he finds Alub again. Here go the Pumas towards that French goal line. It's a good block by France. Well, Derek Bevan didn't allow it to go on too long. The movement had come to a stop. The ball was on the ground, so it becomes Argentina's put into the scrum. Now, how good is this Puma scrummage? Roberto Grau from the Saracens Club in London is on this side at number 1. The scrum has gone down, and France have been penalised. Now, that is Cédric Soulette who's been spoken to. He's the man who's come in to replace Christian Califano, both of them from the same club, Toulouse. The second shove from Argentina. You can see Ledesma has popped out of it. And we'll restart. It's a big battle between those 2 front rows. Longo with the control, but it's gone through the 90 degrees.
Very interesting, the French just turning the scrummage every time to close off the blindside options that Argentina might try and exploit. I don't really have much of an idea what goes on in the front row, but very clever games by the French there.
Longo, Pichot, he's quick, and he's there. Pichot has dived for the line, and Augustin Pichot has scored for Argentina. That's his 10th try for Argentina. He saw the line, sensed the gap, and took his chance.
But again, I've just been saying there that the scrummage hasn't been turned. Pichot actually just gets half a chance, goes in, and Dominici can't prevent him. Lovely feedback there coming from Gonzalo Longo, through to Pichot, and over he goes. Just a half dummy, Dominici not being able to stop him, and over he goes. Interesting, that was the first scrummage the French hadn't wheeled slightly. So it's the first opportunity Pichot got. Lovely pass, and over he went.
Interesting that in all the 89 points that Quesada has kicked in this Rugby World Cup, there's only one conversion in that lot, and that was for the Albanese try against Ireland on Wednesday. Quesada. It looks pretty good. The flags go up and Argentina have struck back. Pichot, and the conversion makes it 17 points to 7.
Here again we can just see the score. Again, the French, having turned the scrum 3 times, didn't do it that time. Goes through from Longo to Pichot.
Christophe Lamaison. A little bit wobbly that looks. Longo. Good feeling was going in for it. Ledesma now back to Quesada. Hasn't made touch. That's, yes, he has now. That's Christophe Jouillet underneath it. It was a good catch by the Stade Francais man, but he just put a toe cap into touch. You only have to touch the line, and that is in touch. I think it's a new pair of shorts for one of the Argentinians. And they will go on to the frame of Ignacio Fernandez Love. Always seems to bring a chair from the crowd. Can't imagine why. Ledesma then. Alioub is the man who goes up for it, but it was too long. Was that a knock-on? No, it came off his shin, says Derek Bevan. That was Rolando Martin taking it in. Pichot, Ledesma. Quesada on the left, taken down by Jouillet, but still with Argentina. Pichot not much outside him, and that's gone straight into touch. It's going to be a penalty though, a penalty to Argentina. France penalised for coming in on the side of the ruck, the side of the maul. You have to come in from the hindmost pair of feet.
Very good pressure from Argentina there. And again, demonstrating what they did last Wednesday night in Laon, the ability to just put pressure and run. And here we have a replay, in fact, of the try, and here we can see Gonzalo Longo flipping the ball up to Pichot. He goes through, Dominici goes for him, gets the ball down. I think a good try. There was some debate about it, no question in that replay. But just to go back, the Argentinians very good at putting pressure on their opposition, and eventually people succumbing to it. And Pichot demonstrating once again why he is really up there with the top scrum halves in the world.
Gonzalo Quesada, he kicked 6 penalties against Wales. He kicked 8 penalties against Samoa and a drop goal. He kicked 7 against Japan. He kicked 7 against Ireland. He's missed with his first penalty attempt here in Dublin against France. He's kicked a conversion. This to make it 17-10. Quesada for Argentina, and it's 3 points. Quesada is back in the groove. It's France 17, Argentina 10, 26 minutes gone.
France, having started so well, just a bit sleepy and really out of their play at the moment. They've really got to get themselves back into the game. Argentina have closed the gap to 7 points, and we're back to a situation where Argentina are well capable of closing in on the game.
Alioub with the take, the two-handed take from the big lock. Well, it was a stirring start by the French, and Argentina have come straight back into the match. Pichot waits. Quesada. Oh, that was slowly done by RWC, and this is Ntamak, and Ntamak has dived for the try, and Derek Bevan has given it. Emile Ntamak has scored his 25th try for France. Fantastic try-scoring record for his country, and it was the charge down of the RWC kick. And he just got there.
Yeah, very slow here from Quesada. RWC really shouldn't have kicked it in the first place. Did it slowly. Ntamak got his hand to it, and he's pacey. Even though he's a big, strong guy, he's very pacey. Beat the Argentinian cover back and got one hand to it. Exactly what France needed. We were just sort of saying to get back into this game. Exactly what they needed, and Ntamak will be very pleased with that.
Christophe Lamaison taking his time, and it's good. 2 more points, and it's 3 converted tries for France, plus a penalty from Lamaison. That makes the 24 points, and Argentina 10.
Here we have the slow pass from Quesada to Arbizu. Shouldn't have kicked it, realised that too late. And Ntamak, showing a lot of pace, beats Corletto to the touchdown. There we have it. Really telegraphed at that stage. Came off his hand very nicely. And touchdown.
Is injured, and it looks to be Miguel Ruiz who's come. It's Fernandez Lobbe. Fernandez Lobbe, no, he's staying in the fray, but he's got a sore shoulder. Up goes Brouzet. That was well taken by the big lock for France. Taken on now by Tournaire. Galtier. Lamaison into open space, but underneath it is Corletto, the fullback. And that's well played. Ignacio Corletto is just 21 years of age. He's a student at the University of Buenos Aires. And this is his 3rd game in this Rugby World Cup. Now back on the halfway line, Derek Bevan has run back to see how Ignacio Fernandez Lobbe is, and he's not good. He's got a shoulder injury. And Fernandez Lobbe is very important to the Argentinian cause. He and Ayoub, 2 young locks who have kept out the likes of Pedro Spurleder, the former captain. He's not in the thinking at the moment for Argentina. This is Miguel Angel Ruiz, who's waiting to come on for the injured Lobbe. Well, Miguel Ruiz wants to come on and earn his 21st cap, but he's going to have to wait a little bit yet. No, he's definitely on this time. So Miguel Angel Ruiz comes on, and rather worryingly, Alex Wiley there, the former All Black and coach to Argentina, looks on as Ignacio Fernandez Lobbe leaves with what looks to be a popped shoulder blade or collarbone. Lamaison, that's a good kick, and that's going to test Corletto. Corletto back in a pretty good position though, and he returns the compliment.
For Argentina, number 4, Ignacio Fernandez Lobbe.
Nice clearance there from Corletto. The first instance, Lamaison showing that at out half he's just as adept as he was in the centre of kicking crossfield goals. Beautifully positioned, but well returned by Corletto. Brings us back to the halfway.
Ibanez finds Brouzet. Galtier, Lamaison, Ntamak standing still, Livremont and Magne, both flankers around the centre. Quick hands from Galtier. Brouzet. Galtier again. He's a good link man behind his forwards. Argentina were penalised for taking the ball back and then for saying a few words. And they weren't in Spanish. Well, France are leading by 24 points to 10, but the decision has been made to secure the extra 3 points.
And not surprising, really. What is surprising on the French side is their backline is very static. Lamaison's really taking the ball quite static, and Ntamak as well, unused to the position of inside centre, is also holding the ball and just taking it a bit too flat. as a result, their back line really isn't moving, and in fact the only impetus is coming from the likes of Magna or Livermore coming into the line.
Christophe Lamaison for France to extend the lead to some 17 points. Stroked it nicely, and the flags go up. Lamaison is certainly in the groove for France. It's France 27, Argentina 10. Quesada. Bouze has had a magnificent game as far as the restarts are concerned. So often a problem in that area. But Bouze is making his presence felt. This is Albanese. He's elusive, but couldn't get away from the grasp of Livremont. Taken on now by Rolando Martin. Pichot, Ledesma. Big tackle from Livremont. Arbissou. That's the halfway line. Pichot again. Quesada. The Pumas' backs were lining up a little bit flat. Cabajosa in a good position. He's outside his 22. And Camardon just looking at the touch judge on that far side. That's Peter Marshall from Australia. But Marshall was already running back to the spot from which Cabajosa kicked.
Yeah, slightly naive there by Garbajosa. Took the ball inside his own 25 and stepped out and whacked it down to no avail whatsoever.
5 is Ayoub, 6 is Phelan for Argentina. This is Ledesma. It's 1, no it's not, it's lost. Ayoub couldn't quite take it. French causing problems for Argentina in the line-out. Camardon to Corletto, the full-back. Tries to run round Ibanez, the French captain. They've gone into touch. Rafael Ibanez, who's captain of France in his 22nd test as captain, his 23rd consecutive test. Olivier Magne with the scrum cap on at 7. Livremont 6. Jouillet doing the lifting at 8. Galtier, Lamaison, Entamac. Galtier again. Men here for France. Lamaison opts for the chip. Oh, it's a good one too. That's a punishing kick from Lamaison.
Well, that's the perfect kick from open play. Really just sat back in the box there off a lovely loose ruck ball and fired it into the corner.
Big gap, fellas. Big gap, France.
Ledesma has to get his throw absolutely spot on. Benazi made himself a nuisance, but this is Rolando Martin, runs into Jouillet. Quesada to Albanese. Oh, he's a tricky little fella, this one. He's made some 15 meters or so. That's well played. Roberto Grau is the man taking it on for Argentina. Argentina quickly get on with it. Ledesma. France penalised for not retreating 10 meters. There's a problem with Olivier Magne. He's got a cut, but the words that Derek Bevan was having with Magne was that he hadn't retreated 10 meters. He made himself a nuisance, and if he did it so again, he'd get a yellow card.
Yeah, adding insult to injury, he actually tackled Pichot, having been sort of knocked back the 10 yards, and Pichot gave him a right clatter in the jaw for his trouble. So there you go.
Not a fair game, this.
Very interesting statistic. 50% each. Certainly France have made much better use of the ball. They have been lucky in the sense that things have run their way, but they've certainly made that 50% pay.
Good take by Ruiz, the replacement for Fernandez Lobe. That's the French 22. Ledesma takes it to ground now. Pichot, Quesada, they're queuing up for a pass. It's a poor one as well. Simone, Eduardo Simone at centre for Argentina. Oh, it's a penalty to Argentina. Having tackled the man, Derek Bevan says that he tried to turn him over, keeping hold of him. You must release the tackle man after making the tackle.
That's it exactly. Yeah, holding the man on the ground. That's what Bevan said. I think he was penalising Manu in that instance, and again got an opportunity for Quesada to close the gap. He's just indicated that's what he's going to do.
Now, from the moment that any kicker tells the referee that he's going to have a kick at goal, he has 2 minutes. If he did take 2 minutes, you could rest assured there'd be a few boos going around this ground. But Gonzalo Quesada does take something like 50-55 seconds over his kicks. Quesada for Argentina. 3 more points. It's 27-13 as half-time approaches, and that was an important kick, one senses, for Argentina.
Very important to just keep them in touch. France are the eternal enigma. Here we see Quesada. The style and the accuracy that we've been used to this World Cup, but France have sort of awoken in spurts. They're 27-13 in front, but yet to establish a steady pattern of play.
Martin, he's a busy man in the back row for Argentina, winning his 54th cap today. The second highest cap man on the park for Argentina is Martin. And that's Quesada. Difficult to believe that he's still an amateur rugby player in Buenos Aires. 1 or 2 newspapers suggesting that his phone has been red hot since the start of this tournament. Up goes Olivier Brouzet for France. Oh, they've lost it. This is Ruiz to Ledesma. The tackle from Entamac. Pichot is in there. There's something on here if they can spread the ball. Arbizu, Simone, 2 men over. A scissors move, it had to go back inside. Quesada with a pickup. Taken on by Corletto, the fullback is in there. There's no one back for Argentina now. And Argentina get the penalty. They did have a try-scoring chance. Albanese, Ledesma, quickly taken on. The momentum with the South Americans. Quesada, Arbizu, there's no one outside him. Yes, there is, it's Camardon, but Arbizu has gone himself. Arbizu, the captain. A tremendous try by Lisandro Arbizu. Camardon was outside, but he was too far.
What a great passage of play for the Argentinians. Spurned the opportunity to kick the penalty. Here's Arbizu, one-on-one on Entamac, takes him on the outside, decides it's time to go to ground and floats himself through to the line. Great skill there on a one-on-one situation. But really the momentum with the Argentinians. Pichot out to Quesada, long ball to Arbizu. Here you see, one-on-one, takes Entamac on the outside, slides in for the score.
Well, Camardon was standing so far away, you can just see him in shot now, but Arbizu saw his chance and took it.
Very interesting, Arbizu just taking the responsibility there. He did recognise that Camardon was a bit too far out, took on Entamac, and Entamac caught very flat-footed, and just a bit of inexperience from a centrist perspective there. Entamac much more used to playing defensive full-back lines.
Quesada with the conversion attempt. This to take Argentina to 20 points and to within 7 of France, and he's done it. It's 27 points to 20, and Derek Bevan blows for half-time. A racing start for France, a racing start for the French, but then Argentina came back with 2 tries themselves, and Argentina are very much back in this match. It's 27 points to 20 at the break. A tremendous first half, and watching with interest the Prime Minister of France, Monsieur Jospin, and the Irish Taoiseach Bertie Ahern. And we're all ready for this second half with Gonzalo Quesada, who stands on 99 points for Rugby World Cup 99. And interestingly, in the last World Cup, Gavin Hastings scored 104 and Thierry Lacroix 112. Quesada could go past that today. Jouillet was in there. That's the French 22. This is Benazi. Galtier. La Maison. And the ball has run kindly for him. It's found a good touch on that far side. Christophe La Maison from the Brive club, and of course one of his French colleagues is Lisandro Arbizu. And before the match, both players are having a pretty good hearty conversation. There's something more at stake now for the next 40 minutes. Alex Wiley, 13 times capped All Black flanker, coach of the Pumas. Up goes Alejandro Ayoub, wearing 5. Pichot to Quesada. And that's gone a mile high. Coming in at a rate of knots is Cavajosa. Oh, that's a nasty collision. And Arbizu and Cavajosa mercifully got back to their feet from that. It was a knock-on, says the referee, first of all, by Cavajosa. Glad to see both players getting back on their feet.
Yeah, it looked as if it was going to be a serious clash. In fact, about 2 centimetres away from a serious clash of heads there, but knocked on by Arbajosa first and Arbajosa second, scrum to Argentina.
Coming in from the blind side was Albanese. This is Simone. Pichot waits. Quesada is back for the drop goal. He had to hurry, and it's just wide. This man doesn't like to hurry, but he had to on that occasion.
Yeah, you can just sense again the importance of the occasion, the fact that it's going to be a tight score. Quesada recognising not a lot on, goes to the drop goal, misses.
5 tries in the match. Joseph, Benatsal and Ntamak for France, and for Argentina, Pichot and Arbizu. This is Quesada to Galtier. Run straight into Camardon. It's good work by the French forwards. Cavajosa is in there as a scrum half because Galtier is in the melee. La Maison, change of tactic, hasn't worked. Ayoub brushes off tackles. Albanese, he does get through some gaps, but not this time. Magna brings him down. Ledesma, tackled by Tournaire. Ledesma carries on. Albanese's taken a bump. Quesada had to bring it back. There was only one man outside him, and they've lost it. Benazi now. Dominici against Corletto, and Dominici's got pace. So too is Corletto, and the fullback has done well. That's the Pumas 22. And Argentina have to concede the scrummage to France. There are a few injured players back on the halfway line. Albanese and Miguel Ruiz. This is Albanese. He's taken a bump. He'll have to go off for a few repairs.
Yeah, Albanese, 33 tests already, a real live wire. Man of the match for me against Ireland during the middle of the week with that superb score, and he's been threatening all this game. I think going off for a blood injury, but he should be back. Like 2 blood injuries at the same time for Argentina.
Santiago Phelan is going off, wearing 6. Albanese wearing 11 is going off. Clash of heads, I think it was. Oops, oh no, that was a couple of studs down the side of the head. But so on the field now, wearing 19 for Argentina is Lucas Ostilla, and wearing 16 is Manuel Contepomi, one half of a set of twins. Felipe is still on the bench. This is Jouillet. The signals weren't good. Picked up by Arbizu. This is Ntamak. Not retreating 10 meters. Penalty, Argentina.
Yeah, you really have to say when Argentina get into a rhythm, they're very effective. They take the ball up, they retain possession, and generally force the opposing team into conceding a penalty. There we can see one of their main players there, Pichot, been outstanding so far for them.
There's some hasty running repairs going on in front of us on the sideline. There you go, that is Santiago Phelan, and this is Diego Albanese, both of them with stitches. Tough game.
Yeah, it's like a Formula 1 pit lane down there. People coming from all over the place to administer repairs.
I think they'd want more than 5 millimeters round about the packaging area. What do you think? So Albanese and Phelan are getting repairs, and Quesada has lined up a penalty goal here, some 2 meters inside his own half. He stands on 99 points for Rugby World Cup 99. Quesada, how good is it? Not good enough. La Maison, right underneath his post, brings in Dominici, change of direction. Galtier, Ntamak, Brouzet, lays it back nicely, the big fella. Galtier again, but he finds Camardon. Camardon stood up nicely, Garbajosa. This is Arbisu, Simone. Back to Arbisu, taken down by Livremont. Good tackle by the flanker. Ledesma, the big man, Roberto Grau, and it was a good tackle by La Maison. Pichot again, Martin, and Martin just took his eye off the ball. But Argentina are stringing attacks together.
Very much so, just as we said earlier, just really stringing attacks together, putting the opposition under pressure. Both Phelan and Albanese both coming back onto the pitch. But France, here we see Galtier just giving the ball away there to Camardon, takes the ball on very nicely in a counter-attack. Back into Arbizu there, was tackled by Livremont coming over. But good pressure from Argentina.
Galtier, Richard Dutt, ooh, that was a big thump on him, and that was Maurizio Reggiado, and he is going to get a yellow card because Richard Dutt took a really big bump there. And Reggiado, who plays his rugby for the Castres club in France, might have a little friendly warning from a Frenchman in the next time Castres play Dax.
Yeah, fairly blatant elbow tackle there, straight into the face of Duart. He's got a yellow card, he's gone the next time he does something like that, I'd imagine. Funny enough, I think he specialises in those. I think he countered Brian O'Driscoll on Wednesday night doing exactly the same thing.
Reggiado, who's moved over onto the tight head of the scrum. Not so much technique for that little blow. This is Richard Dutt. His father Claude played some 34 tests for France. And Reggiado is actually going off. He's been replaced by one of the biggest men who are playing World Rugby these days, wearing 22. Is Martin Celso. This is the late tackle, bang. So Reggiado is off, and Martin Celso at 130 kilograms. That's a couple of tins of baked beans short of 21 stone. It's France on the drive. Ibanez leaves it for Galtier. La Maison, it's on here, Ntamak. Oh, Garbajosa, and a good tackle by Albanese, but Ntamak takes it on again. Benazi, France at full tilt. This is a tremendous drive. Galtier, Benatsau, Quesada with the tackle, and Albanese. Stirring defence by Argentina, and France were piling in.
Great defence by Argentina there. Albanese and Quesada, as you said, making the final tackle. But everyone piling in there. This is the French at their best, stringing together a couple of passes. Lovely tackle there. by Albanese on RWC. Ntamack carries it on, big man, puts his head down and goes for it. There's the French pack coming in, Ntamack getting stuck in again, ball going out, but Argentina holding it.
Galtier, La Maison, nicely picked up, ducked, tackled by RWC, but he was tackled before the ball got to him. That's exactly why Derek Bevan has his hand up for the penalty. Lisandro RWC was anticipating the man taking the ball, but he got there a second too early. And the captain of Argentina rather clumsily affords a penalty chance now to France. RWC there in his 66th international. And he was actually Argentina's youngest captain at the age of 20, and he was given the job some 7 years ago. Took over from Pedro Sporlida when Sporlida was originally suspended from this tournament before Argentina got on the plane. And that's all history. This is now happening, and it's La Maison for France. Christophe La Maison strokes it through the middle of the posts, and France are up to 30 points, and the gap is now 10. France 30, Argentina 20. Boots with him. Quesada has missed one or two for Argentina. Benazi went up for it. Pichot. That's Aloub, taken by Tournaire. Pichot again. Ledesma. Mania this time with the tackle. This is good play. That's the mountain man, Celso. He goes to Northampton after this World Cup. RWC. Dort with the tackle, but RWC is not held. Rolando Martin taking it back into the heavy traffic. They were queuing up for the pass. Quesada held by Bruzet. Continuity is good. Longo now. Gonzalo Longo, the tackle from Ibanez, the French captain. Albanese, bandaged, wounded, but still going for Argentina. This is good play. Martin, no way through there. Yes, there is. Bruzet. Tackles going in thick and fast, and Argentina still retaining the ball. Corletto is out from fullback now. This is a great period for the Pumas. The penalty has been given. Offside. France lining up offside in defence.
Yeah, certainly Argentina in the ascendancy now. They're putting together some very good passages of play, putting pressure on France, and France really out of it, forced to defend and conceding penalties. Here we see the last incident, in fact, where Pichot was held by the jersey and dragged back into the ruck. But again, he's had an outstanding World Cup, an absolutely world-class scrum half.
"51 years of age now, Derek Bevan, but he's still respected worldwide. The man who refereed the '91 Cup final, World Cup final, England, Australia. Now, Argentina do need this kick. They need it badly. 10 points between the two sides. Long way to go in this match yet. Only 14 minutes played in the second half. Quesada for Argentina. He puts over the penalty goal, and he goes past the 100 mark for Rugby World Cup '99. But more importantly on the day, Argentina trail by just 7 points.
Yeah, Argentina really clawing themselves back into the game, and very much, as I said, in the ascendancy. France have really sort of sat back, and Argentina have run at them very effectively, and France need to get up there and need to get back into some running patterns. La Maison.
Oh, that was Benazi, beautifully taken. Manya now. Into the Pumas 22. Galtier hands it on to Soulet. La Maison. Durt. Oh, nicely played. Entamac. Oh, the little dummy in the standoff. Beautifully played by Entamac. Rabajosa. It takes 3 to take him down. That was wonderfully played by Emile Entamac in the centre. Galtier, La Maison, the long pass to Soulet. What's he doing in the centre? It's still French ball. Galtier, where is his options? Momentum slow just for a moment. Ibanez, big tackle by Phelan, picked up by Pichot. That was all right, says the referee. The ball was out. And France have just lost it for a moment. Quesada desperately kicking it away. Chased up now by RWC and Corletto. And that's a thumping collision between Durt and Rabajosa. And it was late off the ball by Dominici. He's taken a shove. It's all happening off the ball. And the referee, Derek Bevan, meanwhile, is trying to referee the match. He's offered Argentina the kick or the scrum, and Argentina has said they'll have the scrum further upfield.
Yeah, amazing events here. Hard to keep track of it all. This could be, you know, one of the defining moments of this game. France all on the attack. Argentina defending courageously, eventually clearing the ball. Here you see Arbajosa clashing with Durt, his own man. Look at that. Dominici slightly late. In fact, what you don't see is Longo, the Argentinian, coming in to the fray there and sorting Dominici out.
Quesada, Arbizu, Corletto from full back. He's got a bit of pace, this boy. He's gone round Durt. Corletto on his own. Terrific run by the 21-year-old fullback. Still, though, with Argentina. Longo up to the French line. Pichot, Albanese. Albanese is there. He's stretched for the line. The Pumas are claiming the try. Derek Bevan has brought them back for the penalty.
Amazing here. I just thought one-on-one Albanese would have it, but in fact Bernard Sal, yeah, rightly taken into touch there. French had infringed just before that, and hence Argentina get the penalty.
Argentinian flags flying round the ground now, and they're cheering Argentina. And the Pumas have gone for the scrummage with the penalty award. How good is their scrummage? And France are pretty equal to the task. They've held firm. Longo now with the pickup. Aloud with his hands on the ball, helped by Grau and by the big man Celso. Celso dragging his man forward. La Maison is in there. But the penalty goes the other way. Not a grimace on the face of Alex Wiley. And this mountain of a man, Martin Celso, has been spoken to. He dragged La Maison, who had possession of the ball, he dragged him around the other side of the mall. And he said that that was illegal.
Well, amazing, really. I wonder will Argentina look back and rue that decision. With a goal kicker like Quesada in your team, you get a penalty on the 15-metre line, eminently kickable, to take them 3 points nearer. And I'm not so sure a scrum was the right decision there.
Number 21 you saw there running on the field for France is Peter de Villiers, the Stade Francais prop. He's on for Cédric Soulet from Toulouse. And Peter de Villiers, who made his debut in the international against Wales just a couple of months ago, born in Malmesbury, just outside Cape Town, South Africa, playing now for France in this Rugby World Cup quarter-final in only his second cap. So de Villiers is on in the front row for France. Qualifies, of course, through residential qualification, lived there for 4 or 5 years. This is Dort, he's through his man. Ntamak has broken through with RWC coming up at a rate of knots outside him. He didn't see him. He looked inside for Livrement. Quesada now, Simone. It was knocked on, and had Ntamak looked to his left, he would have seen RWC going like a train on the outside, and Dominici outside him.
Yeah, lovely break by the French there. Ntamak going, cruising along like a nice Bentley, just moving into 4th gear there. Didn't actually stay on his left. Here we see him just accelerating out there. There was a man overlap there. Decided to pass it infield. Argentina won it. Lovely overhand there. Lovely piece of skill by Pichot there. Just too quick for Quesada to hold.
Amazing things have happened. In fact, Gonzalo Quesada's gone off. This is RWC picked up by Juillet. France, you just sense, have stepped on the accelerator just a little. La Maison, Dort with the tap to Dominici. He cannot hold it. Camardon with the tackle. That's the 3/4 doing backs, doing forwards work. But the Pumas have been penalised for diving over the ball. It's one of the areas, the tackle area, which causes so much problems. You have to stay on your feet. And while that was happening, would you believe, Gonzalo Quesada has left the field. It didn't look as if he was injured, but he has been replaced by Felipe Contepome. And the prolific kicking machine Quesada has gone, and so Contepome joins his brother Manuel Contepome on the field, his twin brother that is. And what effect will that have on Argentina? An amazing substitution that certainly won't be in any part of the mind of Christophe La Maison, who lines up now. Hasn't missed a kick all afternoon. Kicked 3 penalties, he's converted the 3 tries. La Maison, well, he's missed his first. And La Maison retreats, and the scoreline stays France 30, Argentina 23. Juillet, lots of pace, the big number 8, takes 2 to bring him down. Galtier with Ibanez in support, all done at pace, picked up now by Benazi. Good tackle by Longo. Galtier, he's knocked on. Referee's seen it. What a sight that is when Benazi picks the ball up and starts galloping upfield.
Good play there by Juillet and Benazi. And, really, the French pack having to work hard to get themselves back into the game.
And suffering with the wounds around the head is Santiago Phelan, the back row man. That's Felipe Contepome, a genuine fly half or centre. His brother is more of a fullback. Both the brothers play for the Newman club in Buenos Aires. And this Felipe Contepome is also a medical student at the University of that city. Could probably rapidly increase his studies if he has a look around his teammates. Quesada, now a spectator. Unbelievable that he should be off. Phelan is leaving the field. I think he needs more repairs. Benazi takes the ball at the front of the line-out. Benazi, the most capped French forward of all time. Here he is earning his 68th cap. Taken on again by the forwards. Galtier, La Maison. That's a huge kick. Dort is after as well, but that's wonderfully taken by Corletto. Inside his 22. Penalty to Argentina. hands been used in the ruck, and a couple of words of choice French. And here goes Pichot, taken on by Albanese. The referee has seen it. Carried on now to Gonzalo Longo. Bruze with the tackle. Pichot, tricky, Ledesma. Pichot again to Arbizu, to Contepone, Felipe. Now Derek Bevan is explaining he saw what he thought might have been a trip on Albanese. And he is explaining to Diego Albanese, I saw the trip, but I gave you advantage, and I felt that was sufficient. And so the penalty was not given, and they've carried on.
Fairly blatant trip there, all right, by the French player. But Bevan, one of the best referees in the world, and very consistent, and I think he was absolutely right in playing on that.
Christophe Jouillet has gone off, and onto the field comes Arnaud Coste from the Montferrand club for his 10th international. Coste wearing 19. France leading by 30 points to 23. La Maison. Straight to Gonzalo Camardon. Outside is 22 now. Benazi with the catch. Benazi out of the tackle. Here he goes. Oh, that was a good tackle by Ruiz. Taken on by Galtier. La Maison lines up the drop kick at goal. It's not a bad one. It just swerves away from the upright.
Yeah, great break again. A break out of defence by Benazi. Here's La Maison. Hits it. Never really got any great height. Wasn't particularly elegant. At the end of the day, didn't go through the post.
Pichot, Arbizu. Some 13 or 14 minutes to go in the second half, and there'll be some time added on for injury, all right. And even though France lead the series between these two countries rather convincingly by 28 wins to 4, and they've won the last 7 matches between these two, Argentina have made so much of a game of it, and up goes Ayoub. Ledesma, he's been a busy man, the Pumas hooker. This is Ayoub again. Wore a head guard in the first half. Down to the serious business now. He's left it alone. Corletto takes on 4 or 5 would-be tacklers. Pichot, Contepome, Felipe. Arbizu taken by Livremont. Good tackle by the flanker. Pichot again. You see how Argentina are working with the hooker. Pichot and Ledesma. It's close quarter stuff. Grau, Pichot, Ayoub, Martin, Camardon. Oh, the pass didn't go to hand. Albanese, though, retrieves it for Argentina. That was good handling by Argentina, and they're still queuing up for the pass. Argentina with Arbizu and now Contepome. That's Arnaud Coste getting out of the way of it. Pichot to Corletto. Corletto going the long way round. Has he got the pace? He steps back inside. That's wonderful footwork by Corletto, the fullback. And Argentina still have the ball. Grau, it's got to go outside. Contepome, what a tackle by Livremont. But France are offside. This is a magnificent period for the Pumas, who trail by 7 points. They must be desperately tired. It took all their energies against Ireland on Wednesday, and they are taking the game to France.
Fantastic, really fantastic play by the Argentinians. Continuously recycling the ball and setting it up, and France really just forced to defend, and then Corletto taking Entimac on the outside, setting it up. And I would say a try-saving tackle there from Livremont on the French side, who came in and clattered round with ball. Otherwise, it was a 4-on-2 outside. and Argentina would have got in for a score.
And Lansdowne Road is making a noise. The Puma supporters are chanting for their side. As Felipe Contepome lines up for this penalty attempt, slots it through the posts, and Argentina are up to 26 points, and the gap is only 4. What a scoreline, what a match.
Yeah, and Argentina very much in control at the moment. I think France just trying to look at the time and just sort of seeing how they're going to survive this match, staying in front. Remember, Argentina finished very, very strongly in their playoff match against Ireland in Lens. And if that was anything to go by, you'll see them finish very strongly again tonight or today.
It probably feels like tonight for them. They've expended so much energy, but they seem to have found second breath. Stéphane Castagneda is on now for Fabien Galtier. Benazi taps back, but it's picked up by Ostilla for Argentina, and Pichot, first man there. Ruiz can't take it. It's gone forward. So the Colombier scrum half Fabien Galtier has gone off, and on to the place comes Stéphane Castagneda, wearing 18, plays for the Mont-de-Marsan club, where Vasily Serevi, the Fijian outer half, plays.
France have replaced Fabien Galtier, number 9.
Here he is, Castagneda, first touch, Entamac runs into Felipe Contepome. It's a penalty against Felipe Contepome. He had made the tackle and then he didn't release his man. You've got to let the man go. You can't hold on to him.
We've seen it for the whole World Cup. Referees being very, very strict on that. Effectively, the tackler holding on to the man who has been tackled, not letting him roll away from it, not letting the ball being played. The referees have been very strict on that. They've been blowing at the whole World Cup. And certainly, I think that one was right to go there.
Well, now Christophe Lamaison has missed just the one penalty attempt. He is a prolific kicker in his own right, in the sense that he kicked 81 points in the 2 Grand Slam winning championships, the 5 Nations in 97 and 98. But people at Brive will tell you he missed an important kick against Bath that earned Bath the European Cup. That was in Bordeaux a season ago. Lamaison with a stab at the ball, but he's got it right. Lamaison on target, and France go further ahead. It's 33-26. Argentina, can they stay in touch? Christophe Lamaison giving France a 7-point lead. Argentina must go from here. Castagneda, Lamaison. That's Corletto, the full-back. He's had a pretty good game. He's got Camrandon outside him, but hands on to Simone. Big tackle by Dominici. Picked up now by Magne, Olivier Magne. Taken by Pichot. Good tackle by the scrum half, Castagneda. Onto De Villiers. Castagneda runs across. Lamaison, Entamac. Arnaud Coste. This is Cabajosa with Benatsal outside. A wonderful tackle, but the pass is made, and Philippe Benatsal will score his second try this quarter-final. He thinks that has sealed it, but there's some way to go yet. Philippe Benatsal is on target for the second time.
Yeah, a lovely ball here by Castagneda, firing it out. Entamac recognising there's a bit of space over there. Costes delays the pass, goes to Bernard Sal, goes to Arvajosa, and flicks it inside to Bernard Sal. Goes underneath the post to make sure of the 7 points. Argentina, you sense, just running out of tacklers. There's Arvajosa. Martin getting him in the tackle, flicking it back into Bernard Sal. And again, a think Argentina just running out of tacklers and just running out of strength. They've had a long road to this match. And France just delighted now, I'd say, to put the conversion over here and take the match.
La Maison bangs it through with a touch of contempt, you felt, but France are up to the 40 mark. It's 40-26, 5 minutes of official time to go, and was that the killer blow by Philippe Benatzal? Coste did well. Rabajosa, who's had a good game at fullback, showed Albanese the ball, brought it back inside for Philippe Benatzal, and the Biarritz man scores his second try under the posts. This is the first time that Argentina have ever been in the quarterfinals. They were dreaming of a place in the last four. They still have some time, but they've got an awful lot of work to do. But you can rest assured they'll try from here. That is Manuel Contepome, who misfields, picked up by Corletto. Pichot tirelessly working at the base of the scrum, but Magne, who's had a big game, and so too has Benazi for France. Castagned, La Maison, the little chip for Benatzal, back goes Manuel Contepome. He's done well, he's got to his feet. That is really well played by Manuel Contepome. Penalty Argentina. Ledesma, there are bodies strewn all over the field receiving treatment from trainers. There are people with cramp, there are people with cuts, and still play goes on. Richard Dut to Marc Livermore, and a knock-on will just bring just a breather for a second or two. What a game.
Yeah, you just get the sense again that France have that extra bit of energy, taking it forward, lasting the last 5 to 10 minutes much better. Argentina been tackling all day, hitting the big men like Benazi and Magne, and obviously they're counting the cost at the moment.
And there's going to be another replacement. Argentina look with that extra possession in the second half, 56 to 44%, and they just haven't been able to convert that into tries. All they have to show is 2 penalties, one by Quesada, one by Felipe Contepome in the second half. France have scored 4 tries, and their captain Rafael Ibanez is leaving the field. The man from Perpignan is leaving, and there you can see popping up, having a little conversation. That's Rafael Ibanez, and he's been replaced by Marc Dalmazo from Colombia at hooker, picked up by Stéphane Castagned, by Arnaud Coste rather. Now with Castagned, first touch for Dalmazo. France pressing for another try. Richard Dut, the little chip, on goes Rabajosa. It will be another try, and Rabajosa scores his second, his 5th try for France. And that is it for Argentina. Rabajosa's try has taken them, France, into the semi-finals. The chip by Richard Dut. Rabajosa got there before Dominici.
Yeah, again, just very tired Argentinian players there. A lot of positional changes. Durt chips it in. Dominici or Rabajosa, one or other of them. Rabajosa got there first. Again, Castagned firing the ball out. Nice move to Durt. Lovely chip. And again, the Argentinian defence, fullback playing on the wing. I think positionally they're all over the place. And Rabajosa goes in for the score.
Christophe La Maison. To convert the 5th French try. Oh, he stroked that one well, and it's through the post as well, and it's 47 points to 26. And And just in the last 10-12 minutes or so, much as Argentina pressed, France have come back and have put the Pumas on the back foot. Tired Argentinians after their efforts on Wednesday.
Yeah, very tired Argentinian team now. Also players out of position, substitutes coming on, and a lot of confusion, I think, in the Argentinian back three now. And France just taking advantage of that, substituting a number of their key players now, getting them ready for the semi-final.
And that is David Orardou from the Stade Francais club. This his first appearance at Rugby World Cup '99, but his 7th cap. He's a tall man at some 6'7", 2 meters 2 centimeters for those of you in metric. Big enough to be in the line-out.
Number 16 from France replaces Xavier Garbajosa, number 15.
And Garbajosa has gone off. There he is. A hero for France with 2 tries. And France, very much the sleeping giant of this Rugby World Cup. They played in Béziers, they played in Bordeaux, they played in Toulouse against the likes of Canada, Namibia and Fiji. Didn't quite fire on all cylinders. You might say they haven't quite fired here on all, but my word, they've shown glimpses of the France that were Grand Slam champions of the 5 Nations in '97 and '98. Now off goes Augustin Pichot for Argentina. He's had a big game, the little man. Huge heart. Signals to the crowd for the applause he's receiving. It's the final moments of this match, and Argentina are still pressing, but it's broken down and it's picked up by Stéphane Glas. He's come on the field wearing 17 for France. Hugo Mola is also on, the Castres fullback. He's on wearing 16. And that is the end of this quarter-final in Dublin. Argentina gave everything. They gave everything on Wednesday night when they put out the favourites, Ireland, the favourites, that is, to come back here to their home ground in Dublin. This has been a magnificent match, but the French, from whom we were expecting so much, certainly provided it with 5 tries, 2 from Philippe Benatsal, 2 from Xavier Garbajosa, and 1 from Emile Ntamak. And La Maison had his kicking boots with him. 47 points to 26, and Argentina, you just felt, ran out of steam. But they've done credit for themselves and for the South Americans. For Argentina, this has been a wonderful performance from them, their first ever quarter-final. But in the end, they just did not have enough, and it's France who go into the semis. The final score here in Dublin: France 47, Argentina 26.